If you want to get in contact with me, the best way to do it is on Instagram. If you just want to say what up, if you want to tell me you love my beard, if you want to tell me you hate my beard, the best way to do it is on Instagram. Peace, y'all. Jonny Fastlane here. So, Blueface does an interview on The Breakfast Club, and Slim 400 is back in the studio. Plus, Young Dro arrested over a food fight? Let's talk hip-hop. Alright, yo, so Blueface, right, is on The Breakfast Club this morning, right? And he does an interview, it's like mad short, right? And they basically asking him about like all the drama and everything that's going on, right? They weren't really even asking him about music, any new projects or whatever, right? One of the very first things that DJ Envy asked him was like, yo, what's up with your sister and your mom? Why did you kick them out the crib, right? And he's like, yo, my mom lives in Ohio, she's good, they were in my crib for a whole week, and I wasn't really kicking her out, I was kicking my sister out, but you know, she was with my sister, so they ended up going back to the hotel, right? He was saying that they was just visiting him or whatever, right? And then he basically says that he was trying to get his sister like good because she's going through like her own personal issues, and it's crazy because she's older than him, right? And he's like, you know, now he has money and he's just trying to help her out, right? But she's like, I guess, expecting a lot from him, a little bit more than what he could do, right? She's kind of feeling like entitled because she's the oldest sister and she wants this and wants that. And then also he kind of said that it almost seemed like his mom and his sister were like upset at the love and affection that he was showing to like his two girlfriends, right? And then so they asked him about it. It was like, yo, like, did you kick your mom and your sister out because of the girlfriends? And he was like, no, I mean, like, they were arguing with his sister or whatever like that, but that's not why he kicked her out. He kicked her out because like she was threatening to call the cops, she was like trying to rip up the house, she was trying to break stuff, like all kind of stuff like that. Kind of like exactly what I was saying, right? And then, you know, Blueface talks about his two girlfriends, right? And so they ask him about them, and also a rumor that came out like last week, right? And basically, if y'all remember, the rumor was like, yo, Blueface got robbed for $500,000 worth of jewelry by his two girlfriends, right? And that rumor came out on the same exact day that they both got the tattoo on their hand, right? And I'm like, that's fake news. Why would they get a tattoo of him in the morning and then rob him in the afternoon? Like, if I knew I was gonna rob Blueface tonight, I'm not getting no tattoo of him in the morning, right? Anyway, so he talks about it, and he actually was like how once he saw that rumor was on the internet, and he knew that he hadn't been robbed because he's him and he knows he didn't get robbed, but once he saw it, he came to his mind and he was thinking to himself like, would y'all ever rob me? Basically, like, just straight up asked him, was like, would y'all ever do something like that to me, right? And then so one of the girls was like, nah, hell no, we would never do that to you, you know, we love you and we're here for you. And the other girl was like, you know, she was making a joke, but she was like, I'm just here for the money, right? And so the first girl that said, nah, I would never do that, actually is Blueface's baby mom. He actually has a baby with her, and I didn't know that. So Blueface was saying like, yeah, we got a kid together and everything, but that second girl is sort of like the second or the third person to come to the relationship, and that second girl, you know, he doesn't have no kids with or nothing like that, and that is the girl who made that joke and was like, I'm just here for the money, right? So once Blueface, you know, heard her say that joke, he was kind of upset and was like, yo, you know, that's not cool, whatever. And instead of her apologizing and be like, you know what, I'm sorry, she was just like started getting mad back at him like, I can't believe you actually mad, I just made a joke, blah, 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 blah. And then she left, right? She stormed out of the house, right? And Blueface was saying that if she had came back that same night, he would have forgave her because he knows that she was just joking and she misses him and everything's all good. But she didn't come back that night. She came back in the morning. And when she came back in the morning, her stuff was packed up, right? So according to Blueface, he broke up with one of the girls, right? And then he was like, me and my baby mom, we looking for a new girlfriend. We looking for applications right now, you know what I'm saying? So all of that was cool, right? And then I just go on Instagram, like literally before I start this video, and I see that Blueface's sister has like some kind of diss track or like a song that she dropped talking about Blueface.
He talking like he with it when I know he not. Since you was good at throwing footballs, guess you throwing shots. You my little brother, I don't care about your buzz. Guess since you a crip, you don't care about your blood. Should've stuck to football, cause nigga you can't rap. Your manager ain't the only one that's whack. niggas only want you cause you Blueface. You switched on mommy, nigga, I call you Toothpaste.
She's like, you can't rap. You should have took to football because you can't rap. Your manager is not the only one that's whack, right? But this is whack too, you know what I'm saying? And Blueface is not all that trash, right? And so they also asked him about that. They was like, what you talking about? You the best lyricist in the game, right? So Wack 100, who is Blueface's manager, who also works with Cash Money, had to step in, and he was like, think about it, right? He was on the mic. He grabbed Angela Yee's mic, and he was like, think about it, yo. Blueface is not talking about himself compared to like Nas or The Game. He's talking about himself compared to like these new rappers out now, like from 2016 onward, right? And if you're talking about those kind of rappers and whether or not they respect punchlines or bars or whatever the case may be, and then you look at Blueface, who actually cares about at least hitting you with a punchline, then you'll see that Blueface is not that bad of a lyricist, and what he's saying is kind of true. Blueface did not say that his flow was all of that, and Charlamagne was like, but your flow is part of being a lyricist, so if your flow is trash, then you're not a good lyricist, right? And Charlamagne was definitely playing devil's advocate with Blueface the whole time, right? And Blueface is like, you haven't even heard any of my music, and Charlamagne was like, you're right. You know what I'm saying? But you know, Wack 100 was basically saying, think about it compared to your Trippie Reds, compared to Lil Baby, compared to, you know, Lil Yachty, and then you listen to Blueface and you like, okay, Blueface is spitting something, right? And Blueface even said it. He's like, all these rappers that are coming out now are singing. He's like, at least I'm not singing, right? And he's like, as far as lyrics go, in my class, I am like one of the best lyricists, right? And then Charlamagne, like I said, playing devil's advocate, he was like, the baby could spit. Meg the Stallion could spit. He was like, you know, and that is true. The baby could spit, and so can Meg. But in Blueface is not on beat, but he does have those punchlines. But so does the baby, and Lil Baby too. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
It's still a bullet right here. And
this is crazy, right? And Slim 400 might be like the only person I know besides 50 Cent to get shot 9 times, right? Remember when 50 first came out, he was like, I got shot 9 times. I got shot 9 times. Like Slim 400 is like the only person to get shot 9 times, right? And still survive and live to tell about it. And I mean, almost the same exact story as 50 Cent, right? All over his body and then one in the face too. And the same thing that happened to 50 Cent, right? And so Slim 400, you see him talking about it, how he still has a bullet right there in the side of his face and his cheek, right? And he's like, in his jaw. And he's like, I don't know why the doctor didn't want to take it out, but I got another appointment in 2 weeks where they are going to remove it, right? I guess they removed all the other bullets, right? But this whole situation is crazy, right? So Slim 400 was, I guess he was like at a family member's house or wherever, right? And he was just outside, and then somebody pulled up and they just started shooting him. And they were literally obviously trying to kill him, right? And then after all of that happened, right, you know, while they were still shooting, one of his relatives, he was explaining, ran outside the house and like grabbed him and pulled him inside the house, right? And at that point, he just kind of gave up. He thought that he was gone, right? He started thinking about his daughter and he started thinking about everything, and he just felt like he was gone, right? And then he says that was the wrong thing to do at the time because, I mean, look, I survived. I'm still here for a reason, right? And then we all know what happened because, you know, while Slim 400 was in the hospital chilling, somebody had, you know, stolen YG's, you know, bulletproof truck, and they went on some kind of shooting. You know, I guess they were about to go on a mission or whatever, but before they could, the police pulled them over, and instead of like just getting pulled over because they would have got gun charges, what they did was they decided to shoot at the police, and you know, the police and whoever was in YG's bulletproof truck had a shootout. Somebody ended up shooting an innocent person on the side of the street. They don't know if it was the cops or the people that were shooting at the police. They were shooting at helicopters, they were shooting at cop cars, they were shooting at everything. And then, you know, they decided to issue a warrant to go search YG's home to see if YG had anything to do with it, and they ended up arresting somebody in YG's house. YG wasn't home at the time, but you know, this whole situation is crazy, right? So it's still an open case. Nobody, at least the law, doesn't know, who shot at Slim 400. I'm sure Slim 400 may have some kind of idea what was going on, or maybe not. And now, YG's under investigation, and some other people that are affiliated with YG and 400 Entertainment are under investigation. It's just like a crazy, crazy mess. But the good thing, though, is that at least Slim 400 is alive. He's back in the studio. He seems to be like grateful that he's alive, and he's like, you know what, man? I'm happy to be here. And, he's just basically telling his story. He also said that when he was in the studio, when he was in the hospital, he felt like he was locked up in jail because he couldn't move around like he wanted to. And now that he's back in the studio, he just feels like free, and free to do his art and do his music, which is dope, man. I just hope that everybody in this situation comes out clean. Nobody wants to see YG locked up or any of his peoples, or nobody wants to see nobody dead. It's just like a crazy situation. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Young Dro is in Atlanta, right? He lives in Atlanta, he's from Atlanta, right? And this might be the reason why he's locked up or got arrested in the first place, right? So the whole situation is, right, different states have different laws, and in Georgia, they don't play. When they come to arrest you, they coming, right? So, all right, it was a little bit of shouting, a little bit of screaming in Young Dro's household with him and his girlfriend, right? He got into an argument. I wouldn't say no domestic violence. I don't think he was like, you woman, and beat the crap out of her, anything like that. And I don't even know if he really even put hands on her, right? The whole situation is, I guess they were eating dinner, they started arguing about money, and then she threw something at him, and then he threw something at her, right? The funny thing is that they were both throwing food at each other, so they were at dinner, right? She throws her, her dessert, he throws his dessert. He got some pudding, right? And he throws it at her, right? And Dro should have known, right? Yo, they already locked Bill Cosby up for messing with the pudding, so they gonna lock you up for messing with that pudding too, right? So anyway, right, he throws the pudding at Shorty. Somehow the cops get called. I don't know if she called the cops on him or if the neighbors just called the cops because they heard a lot of loud screaming and yelling or whatever the case may be, right? But when the cops came, they asked her and him what was going on. She was like, he threw pudding at me, but I don't want to press charges. She said it I don't want to press charges. Forget about it. Thank you for checking on us. We cool, right? But despite doing that, they arrested him anyway on misdemeanor family violence battery charges because he threw the pudding at her, and that is a misdemeanor battery or whatever the case may be, right? And maybe he would have posted bail in a couple hours, got out, been able to pay a little fine or whatever the case may be, and went on with his life, right? But then once they get you locked up, man, once the system locks you up, they look for everything, right? So then they started looking through his rap sheet, his paperwork, all things that they have on Young Dro, right? And one of the things was that he owed back child support. In some states, they will lock you up and arrest you for owing back child support. Georgia is one of those states. $41,000 is what he owes his baby moms in child support. She says that he hasn't been paying. So now they want him to pay at least $10,000 of that before they let him out of jail, right? He got arrested, a couple weeks ago, actually, now that I think about it, but he's still sitting in jail now because he hasn't been able to produce the money for the child support, right? So this story had just dropped, and it's looking crazy because Young Dro is still sitting there, right? Hopefully he could get the money together and at least get out of jail. But this is crazy that you go to jail for throwing pudding at your girlfriend, right? A food fight, and now you locked up in jail for child support, and now you still just sitting there, right? And unless he comes up with that money for the child support, he will be sitting there, which is insane. That doesn't mean that he had a warrant for his arrest. That just means that he owes child support, which is insane. Let me know what y'all think about this and everything else in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell and follow me at Jonny Fastlane. That's Jonny Fastlane on Instagram. And y'all already know what to do. Peace.